You've heard the names, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe even Dogecoin. They're everywhere. But what is cryptocurrency really? Behind all the hype and the crazy price swings, there's a technology that could totally change how we think about money. So, let's cut through all that noise and figure out what's actually going on.
So what's the deal here? Is this the actual future of finance, or is it just, digital monopoly money? Is it a brilliant investment or a huge bubble that's just waiting to pop? To even start to answer those questions, we first need to get a handle on what it is, how it works, and why it's got the whole world so divided. All right, let's start at square one, the absolute basics. Forget all the complicated jargon for just a minute. What are we actually talking about when we say cryptocurrency?
Okay, simply put, it's digital money. But here's the part that's, well, kind of revolutionary. It's built to work without a central authority. That means no bank, no credit card company, no government in the middle. And that one idea, cutting out the middleman, that's the key to this whole thing. This slide really breaks down that core difference perfectly. On the left, you've got the system we all know. Everything flows through a central hub, like a bank. But over on the right, you have crypto's decentralized network. It's run by thousands of computers all over the world, which means transactions can go directly from me to you, peer to peer. And what keeps it all safe? Not some big vault, but powerful encryption called cryptography.
But hang on a second. If there's no bank, what stops someone from just cheating? Spending the same digital dollar twice? Well, the answer is the incredible technology running under the hood, the blockchain. So let's take a peek at how that actually works.
The easiest way to think of the blockchain is like a digital receipt book. But here's the trick. It's copied and shared with everyone on the network. Every single transaction gets its own entry. And because thousands of these identical copies exist, if one person tries to secretly change a record on their copy, the rest of the network just goes, nope, that doesn't match, and rejects it. That's what makes it so incredibly secure.
So how does your transaction actually get added to that public ledger? Well, as you can see here, it kicks off the moment you send the message. And then, instantly, computers all over the network start a frantic race to solve a really complex math problem. The first one to solve it gets to bundle your transaction with a bunch of others into what's called a block. That new block then gets locked onto the end of the chain, making your transaction permanent and public for everyone to see.
And that digital race to solve the puzzle, yeah, that's what people are talking about when they say mining. It's the hard work that verifies all the transactions and keeps the whole network secure. So why would anyone bother dedicating all that computing power to it? Simple, because the winner of that race gets rewarded with brand new cryptocurrency. It's the engine that both secures the network and creates new coins at the very same time.
Okay, so that's the tech, the nuts and bolts, but technology is only half the story, right? The other half is all about us, human motivation. Why are so many people so eager to own these digital coins?
So how do you even get your hands on crypto? Well, like this slide shows, you could mine it yourself if you have some seriously powerful computers. Or you could start accepting it as payment for goods or services. But honestly, for the vast majority of people, the entry point is just buying it on a crypto exchange, which kind of works like a stock market, but for digital coins.
And once people buy it, what's the plan? Well, for a lot of them, it's pure speculation. It's a bet, hoping the price will rocket up so they can sell it for a big profit later on. For other people, it's more about diversification. They see it as a kind of digital gold, an asset that isn't directly tied to the daily ups and downs of the traditional stock market.
And this brings us to a very, very important but. The potential rewards might seem high, but you have to understand that the risks are just as massive. It is absolutely crucial to understand the dangers before you even think about getting involved.
This quote right here, it says it all. The value of cryptocurrency is unbelievably volatile. We are not talking about the gentle waves you see in the stock market. This is more like a tidal wave. Prices can literally surge or collapse by huge amounts in a single day, sometimes even in a single hour. And as you can see, that volatility is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. The exchanges where you buy crypto, they can get hacked. If you lose your digital password, your private key, your money is just gone, forever. There's no bank to call for help. And if you accidentally send money to the wrong address, there is no undo button. It's a high-stakes world with almost none of the safety nets we're used to in regular finance.
So, after hearing all of those risks, if you're still curious about how someone might participate in this market,
The key word, the most important word, is carefully. So let's look at the different options you have. Now, the most obvious way is to just buy the coins directly on an exchange, but there are also indirect ways to get involved. You could invest in the stock of companies that are tied to the crypto industry, or you could buy into funds that hold the crypto for you. For some investors, this just feels a little safer because they aren't personally responsible for keeping those digital assets secure.
So before you do anything, this checklist is absolutely essential. First, you have to be honest with yourself about your tolerance for risk. Can you truly afford to lose whatever you put in? Second, do your own research. All of it. Don't just follow some random person's advice on social media. And finally, if you do decide to get in, you have to watch it closely. This is not a set-it-and-forget-it kind of investment.
So, where does all this leave us? Is cryptocurrency a financial revolution in the making, or is it just a dangerous gamble? The truth is, the technology has the potential to reshape our world, but the risks are very real and undeniable. The only clear answer right now is that the story of cryptocurrency is still being written, leaving every single one of us to decide where we think it's headed next.